connection C1, and I'm connected as the user HR through this connection. If you look at, if you're working with SQL Developer, if you look at the navigation tree, you have a number of different options to see the different objects belonging to the user. Here I have the tables option expanded, and you can see that the different tables belonging to the user HR are displayed. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create a table using a create table command. I'm going to show you how to create a table by defining the different columns of the table, their data types and their sizes, as well as I'm going to show you how to create a table using another existing table of the database. The first example is going to be a table that we are going to create called cars. The table cars has got a number of different columns, and before I start writing the columns, I will open a parentheses. The first column that I will define is a column called car underscore ID. It's a varchar2 column with a size of 3. The size is defined within parentheses beside the data type, and the data type is defined beside the column name separated by at least one blank space. After you have finished the first column's definition, you will put a comma and then write the second column, which in this case is category. The category column is also a varchar2 column, and the size of this column is 10. I'm going to put a comma and I'm going to define the next column, which is mf underscore ID. This is a numeric column with a data type of number and with a size or precision of 5. The next column that I'm going to define is going to be vehicle type. Vehicle type is a char column, and the size or the width of this column is 20. I'm going to put a comma, define the next column, which is model. Model is a varchar2 column with a size of 20. I'm going to put a comma, define the next column, which is price. Price is a numeric column. This column has got both a precision as well as a scale. The precision is 12 and the scale is 2. So between the precision and the scale, you will put a comma. I'm going to put a comma and then write the last column, which is date of MF. And this column has a data type of date. I have finished with all the columns. I'm not going to put a comma after the last column. Instead, I'm going to close the parentheses that I opened in the beginning. Okay, so here we have the matching parentheses. The command has been completed, and I'm going to now go ahead and execute the statement, and it tells me that the table has been created successfully. I'm going back to the navigation tree and I'm going to refresh this window, and I'm going to be able to see the cars table as part of the tables in the HR schema. In my next example, I'm going to create a table using an existing table. I'm coming back to the navigation tree to show you one of the existing tables in the schema of the user HR. You're looking at the employees table. The employees table has a number of columns, and what we are going to do is create a new table using some of the columns from this employees table. When you create a table using an existing table, not only does the new column inherit the column structure from the existing table, but based on the query that you execute, the data will also be populated into the new table. I'm coming back to the SQL worksheet window, and I'm going to clear my statement and clear the statement output. I'm going to write my command as create table. I'm going to create a table called EMP backup. I'm going to now write the word as, and I'm going to write a select statement that is based on the employees table. The columns I'm retrieving are employee underscore ID, first underscore name, last underscore name, and salary from employees. And I'm going to restrict the data based on a condition where I'm going to say where department underscore ID equals 100. I'm going to execute the statement, and the table has been created. So the name of the table is EMP backup. This table should have 4 columns. The column names will be employee ID, first name, last name, and salary, just as they existed in the employees table. There will be data that will be retrieved by this query, which will also be populated into the new table. Now I'm going to go ahead and do a describe on the EMP backup table. When I do a describe, I should be able to see the structure of this table. There are 4 columns in the table. There is a column returned which is called null, that is returned, and notice that one of the columns takes a not null property. That means the last name column cannot take null values. The data type of each of the columns and their sizes have also been returned by the describe. I can also query the EMP backup table by doing a select star from EMP backup, and the contents of this table will be displayed based on the condition where the department ID was equal to 100. In this example that I showed you, the new table called EMP backup had 4 columns, and the column names were identical to those in the original table. So the employee ID, first name, last name, and salary columns from the employees table were automatically inherited by EMP backup. Sometimes when you are creating a table, you might want to rename the columns or change the names when creating the new table. There are 2 methods which you can use to do something like this. One is using a column alias. I'm going to create a table called E1. Once again, it's going to be based on the data in the employees table. I'm going to write it based on first name and last name from employees. If I leave the statement as it is, the E1 table will have 2 columns, and the column names will be first underscore name and last underscore name. Now, if I want to change the names in the new table called E1, I want the column name instead of first underscore name to be F name. What I can do is, just like I write column aliases, that is beside the name of the column, I'm going to put a blank space and I'm going to write the name F name. Okay, the alias will become the new column name for the table E1. In a similar manner, if I create an alias for last name as L name will be the column name in the table called E1. If I execute the statement, it tells me that the table was created successfully. If I go ahead and do describe E1, I should be able to see the column names as F name and L name. The other method of creating a table and renaming the columns during the creation are by defining the new column names beside the name of the table within parentheses. I'm creating a table called E2, and what I'm going to do is open a parenthesis and I'm going to write the words EID and name. So I've mentioned 2 column names over here within parentheses separated by a comma, and I'm going to write my select statement where I'm going to retrieve the employee ID column and the first name column from the employees table. Now, there are 2 columns being retrieved from the table, and there are 2 names that were mentioned beside the name of the table, and based on position, the employee ID column will be renamed as EID. For the first name column will be renamed as name. I'm going to execute the statement. The table was created successfully. If I go ahead and describe the table called E2, I should be able to see the column names as EID and name. In this tutorial, I showed you different ways of creating tables. One, of creating a table by defining